Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric. I've got another fun one-off episode for you guys this week that may turn into more than a one-off because I have recently acquired a Konami Viper PCB for arcades, and this is specifically Warzade. There's two versions of this game, Warzade and Wartran Troopers. Wartran Troopers runs on a giant projection screen with 4 guns. This runs on a CRT with 2, so I definitely went with that option. Before we get too far involved though, go down below, hit like, subscribe, that notification bell definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But the Viper is a very interesting piece of hardware because it's a mix of classic JAMA style arcade hardware with more of that almost PC based hardware. Because you're going to see we have a JAMA Edge which controls most of the functionality of the board, but then we have another not JAMA Edge that hooks up to a JAMA connector that's going to give us stuff like audio out as well as our gun inputs. I need to build a full harness for this thing, and it's going to be an absolute project for sure. I always get myself into those. Taking a look at the side, we got some dip switches. You have a network port there that is not installed. You have a DIN connector out, and then you have the compact flash card, which is the storage medium for the Viper. I'll get into that more later, but it is pretty complex and weird and strange. Definitely not what you're used to in arcades. What I love about this board is that I got it for basically nothing, and it looks like it's never been used before. If this is not new old stock, it was babied. There is not a single scratch on this thing. There is no rust whatsoever. The bottom is still so shiny. It is a mirror finish. I usually never find PCBs in this good of shape. This was definitely an absolute score, not only for the price, but for just how good of condition it's in, because I love Konami hardware, especially their 3D stuff and their Power PC stuff. But it's just a really fun board, and like I said, it is absolutely immaculate. I don't know how I got so lucky to get this. I paid like $150 for it, and it was tested, known working good. But as much fun as it is to look at the outside of something, the reality is let's look at the inside. But if you do have one of these, keep track of the screws. They are different lengths, and heed this warning. Only qualified engineers are allowed to disassemble this PCB unit. Otherwise, you may shock yourself. I'm clearly not a qualified engineer. We will be fine. I just love that warning. But popping the top off of the Konami Viper, a real topless shot if there ever was one, it is a very interesting and unique looking board on the inside that has a lot of different hardware that's both familiar and foreign. You'll see there right in the middle there's that Motorola chip, and that is a Power PC 8240 running at between 200 to 250 megahertz. It can vary apparently according to the spec, so I guess it can actually turbo itself up. But of course, like every Konami PCB, it's got the dreaded real-time clock. If this battery goes flat, the board is dead. That's not to say that it can't be resurrected, but I wish Konami had never gone near these real-time clock battery back chips. But I've shown in previous videos how you can fix them for the Konami M2. If you guys want to see a video on how to fix every single Konami real-time clock back battery chip, let me know, because it's pretty much standard across the entire series of their hardware, so I can do a video on that if you're interested. But going back into the PCB itself, you got that Motorola sitting right in the middle, and Konami loved using Power PC. It's just one of those things they did. Now underneath that heatsink at the top that I'll show you closer in a little bit is a 3DFX chip, which is basically equivalent to a Voodoo 3. This board kind of straddles the line between dedicated arcade hardware and more PC-based hardware, because very shortly in the 2000s we're going to start getting into, computers and boxes that ran arcade games. This is very close to that. It's like a transitional step, because Apple was still releasing Power PC computers, and they had GPUs inside of them. Obviously this chip is just soldered to the board, but it's very close to what we would end up getting, and that's why this board is a lot of fun, because it kind of feels like the bridge between the old style and the new style. But you'll see here there is that compact flash adapter, and basically it's a PCM-CIA card that's using compact flash as the storage device for the game itself. Nothing for the game is stored on the board except the real-time clock chip with the security code on it. Luckily those are dumped and we can fix them if we need to, but Konami loved using whatever sort of medium was probably cheap when they made these boards, because they constantly made different hardware. And you'll see here it's the same thing as something like a PC card, except it's that compact flash, the adapter. I'm sure you could pivot over to that. But with the 3DO M2, Konami used CDs. They just decided we're going to use whatever parts are cheap. If CD's cheap, that's what we're going to do for this hardware. But if you move over to something like Crypt Killer or PlayStation 1 based Konami hardware board, In this instance, they're not going to use CDs, they're not going to use compact flash cards, they're going to use SCSI hard drives. I showed a video on how to fix Crypt Killer, I'll leave a link below, but Konami just loved doing whatever the hell they wanted with media, and it is a mess to fix and deal with because there is no one great unified standard on how to do it. But if you need help, just ask me, I'm always around and happy to do it. But going into some Warzade gameplay, you're going to wonder, why is the screen backwards? And that is because this is one of those cabinets where the monitor was mounted with a mirror. Through the magic of editing, I can flip it just like that, but there is no way to flip this image in the test menu. So when I do capture this game for gameplay, I'm just going to have to do it backwards, which doesn't really matter if you're playing the game, but if you're actually enjoying it, you know, trying to get some of the story, then it's going to be relatively difficult. And that is just what comes with arcade collecting. And I will say that this isn't going to be a full gameplay reveal either, and I'll explain why in a little bit, because collecting these boards and dealing with them is an absolute pain in the ass. I don't know why I do it to myself, but there is no capture directly of Warzade on YouTube. The footage you're seeing here is probably the best anyone's ever seen it if they don't own a board. Right at the beginning of the game, you get to recruit your soldiers. You can pick a nickname, doesn't really matter whatsoever, but it does have a little bit of fun to it. And then you're going to go right into the game. Now there is audio, it is extremely quiet, and I'm not playing it right now. I will show this gameplay after the credits, and I will turn the volume up. It's not a great capture, I need to tap that second JAMA edge to get the audio in correctly, but you'll get the idea. The issue with this though is that I can't play the game all the way through, and I'll explain in a moment, but I love this look. It is a war game that's also a horror game. As you're going to see right here, these are skeletons. They're also soldiers, and it looks like we're coming up onto the beach in Normandy in World War II. But the vibe that this game is throwing off is why I wanted to get it in the first place, because there's other Viper games that would be easier to deal with. Something like GTI Club would have been a simpler board for me to handle, and that is because of the technology that it uses for light guns and the resolution as well. But at least the first thing that I can see here makes it seem promising that I will enjoy this game, and since there's not really that many gameplay captures, I did buy this on a whim. Main menu IO check works fine, but it's not going to solve the problem that I need to be able to play this game, and that is getting it into a CRT to play it while sending the RGB signal back out to capture it. Because you'll see here with the Konami M2 boards and Total Vice, I can play the game perfectly fine. I cannot hook Warzade up to this television, and that is because it is one of the annoying games that runs in medium resolution. I have a standard resolution, PVM, I have a 31 kilohertz resolution, CRT computer monitor. Medium resolution is 24 kilohertz, and I do not have the monitor, so I can see the game running, but I have nothing to be able to capture it like I did with Total Vice, and that just sucks. I need to find a medium resolution monitor somewhere in Chicago that's not giant, because I am running out of space and I need to build that harness to be able to control it. So this is a preview video. If you guys are interested in seeing more of Warzade, leave me a comment down below and tell me, because otherwise I might just fix this in the background and get that capture out at some point in time. Because the mod and repair videos take forever to shoot. If you guys don't want to watch them, I don't want to make them, because I love modding, but on camera it is 10 times more difficult. But yeah, that's the intro to Warzade. The footage from the game with audio will be after the credits in like 20 seconds. Do me a huge favor, hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Leave me a comment down below if you ever played Warzade, I'd be curious. And I will see you guys in the next Warzade episode. Bye-bye.
An explanation of the mission.